So Andre Lima versus Igor Severino. Uh, at the start of the fight, uh, Senko says, "I cannot wait for this fight. This fight's gonna be crazy." And with hindsight, you're like, "Well, you're not wrong there," because these are two undefeated flyweights, my favorite division, uh, and they're coming at each other and just cheating the whole fight, both
The
of them.
whole fight, they were
It's
abusing the cage,
crazy,
bro. They
dude.
were
It's
abusing
crazy.
that cage.
And but on top of that, it was also a fun scrap. And Rich, I'm gonna need you to we're gonna have to work in tandem uh on these pictures. But uh the fight was very fun. Lima is landing this jab, he's landing low kicks, he's landing knees. Severino's having a hard time getting in a little bit, but his entries for takedowns were fantastic. They were really fun. And every time he would take Lima down, Lima would do the correct thing and make a scramble so that he could get back up. They were
Yeah.
both landing really cool trips in the clinch, back and forth with each other, but then they'd pop right back up. It was a fun fight, just sprinkled with some cheating. Uh,
There was also these really cool moments where, like, I think it was, like, one of them threw, like, a front kick, like a teat, and, like,
mhm.
not like a block or a move, it was, like, this weird thing where they kinda, like, just kinda parried it off to the side a little bit, and that little parry made them almost fall over, and it, like, moved into a takedown. It was so
Yeah.
sick, and then they
And
would grab everything all the time.
Yeah, so we can start going through the pictures, Rich. So early in the first round, here's a cool trip. Severino has Lima's kind of almost like a back body lock, but he doesn't fully have the back. And what he does is he laces his right leg. You can see it on top of Lima's right leg, and he has that laced, and he's got the figure four around his own other calf. And Lima's trying to get his leg free, and by doing that, eventually he's so focused on the knee that Severino says, "Okay, I'm ditching this leg lace, and I'm just going to kick it forward and kick out your other leg from behind." And he takes him down with it. Was awesome. It was such a cool trip. But then Lima's right back up, and we can go to the next picture, Rich. Then they get back up. Lima is on the
Wow,
fence,
that's a crazy
and
place to put your left hand.
dude, Lima's has him up against the fence. He reaches around his back, grabs the fence. You can see it there with his left hand. Uses pulls himself into the fence with that to land a knee. And you're like, dude. But then Severino, as he does this, kicks out his planted leg to trip him again. And I think there's a picture of that too. There might be. Beautiful. What a cool foot sweep. It was just so much cool technique in this mixed in with the cheating. Sometimes cheating leads to cool things. Um, and so so we
Especially when
can
they're
keep going.
both cheating, it's not just
Ex-
one, so we're not
exactly.
mad at either one of them, they're both shitheads.
Yeah, exactly. And if in the words of Tim Elliott, if you ain't cheating, you're not trying. So we can kind of go through these pictures. There's some cool scrambles on the ground to get back up. Um, here's a he jumps guillotine. Lima jumps guillotine here. Very cool sequence. Jumps guillotine. Uh, Severino gets out of it. He switches to omoplata, and there should be a picture of the omoplata, Rich. Um, beautiful. Severino is doing the right thing. His left arm is in the omoplata, but his right hand is in front of his own hip. So
Yep.
it's his hip is blocking it from getting pushed behind his back. Right. What Lima wants to do here is sit up so he can torque the shoulder. So to do that, he reaches up with his left hand and he grabs the fence and pulls himself up into the sitting position. And the corner of Severino is like freaking out at this point.
Losing it.
Tyone comes over, smacks his hand out, says, "Don't do that." And Lima says, "Okay, can I hammer fist him in the back of the head?" And in this position, he does that. And I think there's a picture here of the hammer fist in the back of the head. And then again, Severino's corner is going crazy. Uh, so he pulls himself up for the omoplata from the fence and then hits him in the back of the head with one shot. Tyone's like, "Dude, you need to stop. Like, that's not okay." Doesn't do anything about it. Whatever. The fight
Ever,
continues.
because it's
He
Coyote.
Yeah, he uses the omoplata to get up. They go back and they start trading. And this is where it really got fun because Severino would come in with these big shots, and Lima was just hitting him with these short counters, just meeting him in the middle. It was beautiful. And I think this is where I think the next picture should show. Um, excuse me. Yeah. So this picture here, they're up against the fence. Uh, Severino throws a knee, and what does Lima do? He hits the foot sweep on the planted leg and he trips him. And it's like both these guys are landing these cool trips. And here was the double elbow. Uh, they both go for the upward elbow. Uh,
Step in at the
but
same time,
Lima's
just bah.
Yeah, but Lima's lands heavy, and you could see Severino's on skates. His feet are in mud. He's like kind of freaking out a little bit. Some cool grappling exchanges go down. Paul Felder to Comer's comment hits him with the double elbow from
That
the
was
double
awesome.
rainbow all the way across the sky. I mean, just beautiful.
And
Great
then
work by Felder.
another one of these hindsight moments where they go, "Today's gonna be a good day," and
Yeah.
then immediately after that,
So yeah, end of round one. Um, Severino pokes Lima in the eyes. He throws a leg kick, and then to frame off, to push himself off to get out of the pocket, pokes him in the eye. Tyone's like, "Hey man, watch the fingers." Tyone's working overtime. Here in the second round, you can't see it in the picture, but you can tell what's happening. And what's happening is Severino landed a takedown. Lima's on his back. Lima's trying to get to the fence so that he can wall walk back up. And to do that, to get back into that seating position, he reaches up, grabs the fence, and pulls himself up to the seated position. And Tyone's like, "Hey, man, you really got to stop doing that." And at this
yeah,
point, Felder's like, "Dude, you need to take a point the next time. Like, this is not." He's like, he's already given him too many warnings. Um, but he
too
gets
many
up.
hard warnings too.
Too many hard warnings. He gets up. Severino goes in for another takedown. And you might be saying, "What is this picture? Why would you even put this picture in?" What's happening here is Severino is biting the back of the tricep of Lima's left arm, and Lima is complaining about it to Tyone, who is just like, "That's a warning." And then, and then he eventually circles out. He gets the overhook to circle to get his back against the fence. Severino goes for the takedown again. Lima says, "I'm not getting taken down again." And he grabs the fence to stop himself from getting
While
taken down.
staring Tyone in his
Yeah.
soul.
I mean, look at this cage. Yeah. And at this point, Felder's like, he's doing it again. He's got it. And then eventually Tyone stops the fight because Lima's complaining again about the bite. And he's like, "I don't care about grabbing the fence right now because I just got bit. Like, we need to stop this fight." Tyone does. I mean, it's just a crazy fight. It's just so much happening in
To
this
be
fight.
honest, I think he even stopped it for the cage grab. I don't even think he stopped it for
He
the bite.
goes,
And then he looked at his arm and was like,
yeah,
"Oh shit."
yeah, maybe. I would not be surprised. Um, so yeah, they stop the fight. Tyone's like, "Shut the fuck up, dude. You just grabbed the
Stop
fence."
talking.
Yeah. He grabs the physician. Physician comes in. Physician looks at it, and you can hear because the commentary booth is like, "I want to hear." So they stop talking, and you can clearly hear them talking about it. And he's like, from that position, he definitely could have bitten him. We don't see it on the camera because his face is buried there, but there's a bottom and a top of the bite mark. That's not going to happen on accident. Laura Senko was talking about how sometimes in grappling, sometimes like an arm will get stuck in your mouth, or your like a bicep will get stuck in your mouth from like a crossface or something. If it catches you at the wrong time and there's so much pressure, your mouth is stuck open and you're like, "I can't even close my own jaw." But that's not gonna happen if you're on back mount or back body lock and you're the one that's pressing your face in. There's
Yeah.
no pressure coming back to you. This is 100% intentional. Here is a picture, the best shot I could grab of the bite. Um, doesn't show much, but it does show that he's biting down at least. And then there's the complaint. And then they call the fight, and they're like, "What? No warning? They're just gonna call the fight?" And then they show the bite, and you're like, "Yeah, that's the right call." That
That's
bite shows teeth marks
insane,
through the mouth
man.
guard. How did he do this with the
I
mouth guard?
think I think what happened is he put the mouth guard in his mouth and, like, shoved it in, like, the back, and,
Could be.
like, he had intention here. Like, he's like, "I'm going
Yeah,
to hurt you." And
yeah.
also, like you were saying, the commentary booth was hella quiet, so if you really listen to it, I watched it back this morning. If you really
Mhm,
listen to it, when they call off the fight, the other corner, Lima's corner's in there, and they're complaining, and their
mhm.
complaint was, "Well, look at everything that was going on in the fight. Look at all the cheating that the other
Oh,
guy
you mean
was doing."
Severino's
Uh
corner?
yeah, and then
Yeah,
Tyone was like, "Does that make biting okay?" And then everybody just went
really?
silent. Yeah,
Because
everyone just goes silent.
that's the thing, right? 100% my theory on what happened and why he did this is because of all the cheating that Lima was doing throughout the fight, right? All the fence grabs, the back of the head shot, all this stuff. He was frustrated. And sometimes
Yeah.
when you're frustrated, you do this. It's not the right thing to do. I'm not condoning it, but I think that's where the line of thinking was, at least if I'm trying to come up with it. One
Yeah.
of the funniest things I've ever seen, though, is Tyone walks across to Severino after they call the fight. He's like, "You bit him," and then
Yeah.
Severino goes, "No."
He's
It's
like,
so funny, dude.
yeah, yeah, you did.
Yeah, 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 you did. Um, so yeah, they
What
call the
is it we
fight.
said like a while ago? Tyone is like the old dad of the referees.
Yeah, dude.
He's like, come on.
Yeah, you bit him. Uh, I mean, just crazy, dude. But so yeah, they call the fight. Post fight, um, actually, there was a. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Um, there was an interview that Severino did before the fight where he said, "I don't want to bite off more than I could chew coming into the
That's
UFC,"
hilarious.
and you're like, "You just can't
That's
write this
hilarious.
stuff." And then he comes out and bites off more than he could chew, literally. But
And then
um,
Dana gives him a bite bonus for
so
said.
yeah, after the fight, it comes out. There should be a picture here, Rich, for it. Uh, According to Andre Lima's manager, Lucas Lutkus, Dana White told him after the fight he will give Lima the first "I got fucking bit" bonus. So he did. HW Comer says bite fight bonus of the night. Hey, Mike Tyson did. Happens to the best of them. It's kind of crazy to cut him over this. People do eye pokes and all these crazy shit all the time. It's a fight.
Eye pokes
Yeah.
aren't intentional though,
So they cut
in
Severino.
theory.
In theory, sometimes they are, right. They cut Severino after the fight. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you do cut him, maybe you don't. I don't really know. I don't have a strong opinion on that, if I'm being honest, because I just it's
I
crazy.
mean,
You can't bite
you
people.
got to
You
punish
can't
him
bite
some
people.
way, and how else do you punish him other than cutting him? You're gonna give him like
True.
a top tier fighter who's like hella good, who you expect to beat him, but then if he wins, he gets a benefit from it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's maybe you do just cut him. So after Lima got the bonus, he gets a tattoo of the bite, and it says "I got fucking bit" bonus because that's what Dana told him. And then Dana posted on his story and says, "I was gonna give him 25K. Now I'm giving him 50K. This is awesome." It's just crazy, dude.
I
It's
would have
just
done the same thing, bro. I
crazy.
would have immediately gotten that tattooed on my arm.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a
just
move.
what a move, dude. Um, oh, and actually, I'm gonna share my screen really quick because I found it. Just so in case you thought I was lying.
We always think you're lying, Will.
20-year-old Igor da Silva after Dana White Contender Series 63 win. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew in UFC debut. I mean, you just can't make that shit up, dude. It's too good.
The
It's
WWE
just
is over there taking notes.
but dude, you take notes from this, you can't replicate shit like this. It's just insane. Um, but yeah, I mean, what a fight! It was something to behold for sure. The best part of this whole card was this for sure. Um, but that's kind of it for the card. I guess we can move into moment of silence for the fights we lost.